Hey guys, Heather here at Tye-Dyed Iguana. Today I'm joined by our really friendly male Jackson's chameleon right here. And today we are going to talk about the different ways that you can provide a chameleon with water. Now, chameleons are different from your other reptiles. You can't just put a water dish in their cage and expect them to go and drink from it like any normal reptile would. They actually can't really understand the concept of standing water very well. So they need their water provided to them in ways that the water looks like it's moving or they see it in a droplet form. So today we're going to go over the different things you can set up in your chameleon cage so that they can actually see the water so that they drink for ya. Ain't so? Yeah. He's on the move. So the first tank we're going to look at our store, where we have one of the systems set up, is our Jackson's chameleon tank. And that one has the dripper plant in it, which is an example of a dripper system that you can put in with your chameleons so that they can always have running water. Now, it's a pretty simple system. You basically have a little reservoir of water, and then you have a tube that runs up from that and drips over. Some people have a dripper system where the dripping comes out from the top of the enclosure and then it drips down to the bottom, and they have the reservoir lined up with where the water drips down. But it's a simple pump system where the water runs through. With our dripper plant, it just drips down onto the leaves of the dripper plant and into the reservoir. You can use any small type of bowl. In ours, we have a little rock bowl for the water to drip down to. But all you got to do is put the pump into the reservoir that you have the water in, and it'll pump it up through the tube into the plant. And our chameleons really love to use it. They will happily climb to the leaves and drink the water that drips onto the leaves from the dripper plant. As far as the ones that you just set up on the top of your tank, the chameleons will learn that that's where the water drips from, and they'll probably climb up to it and drink straight from those droplets. Alright, so the next one we're going to go over is the fun one, the really fun one, the Waterfall. Now, we sell a few kinds of different waterfalls at our store, and the cool thing about this is that it's very visually appealing, and it looks pretty awesome in the tank, and you've always got a nice stream of water running for your chameleon. Now, this works pretty much exactly like a dripper system, except it's all contained within the waterfall structure, and it gives a lot more water. It's not just a drip by drip by drip, it's like a nice stream of water for your chameleon. And of course, it looks really cool. The animal can climb on top of the waterfall, and it can be a cool place for them to hang out, and they'll always have a source of water to drink from. Now, the third type of water system that we have for our chameleons that you can use, we actually have set up in our giant day geckos right now. It's the Monsoon System. Now, this one's really cool. It's actually an automated system. You can program it to go off as much as you want, as often as you want, as least amount of times as you want. And you can set it to how long it sprays the water, how often, all that good stuff. Now, what's really cool about a Monsoon System is that you can attach multiple lines to it and have them going out to different tanks, so you can do multiple tanks at once. So if you've got a giant day gecko and a chameleon cage, you can set up one line to go to the giant day gecko and one to go to the chameleon. So yeah, you can use one system for multiple tanks, especially with the bigger Monsoon System. Now, how the Monsoon distributes water is that it'll spray from the little nozzle, a nice spray, and you can adjust on the nozzle how fine of a spray, from a straight shot of water to a nice fine mist of water. So yeah, you can adjust that too, and it'll spray on your different surfaces in your tank, and on the ones that have glass walls, it'll spray on those. And for a chameleon, it'll spray on the branches, the plants. You just gotta make sure you aim them at them. And the chameleon will get the benefit that it'll create the water droplets that it's used to seeing out in the wild. It'll recognize those as water to drink, and yeah, that'll be perfect for them. And then the last system that you can set up for your chameleon, we actually use sometimes in Mr. Slinky's tank, is the Reptifogger. Now that one won't create like immediate droplets. It'll take a while because what the Reptifogger does is it creates a very fine fog, like it says in the name, and it's more like a mist. So the water will build up over time into droplets. Now there are some chameleons that can't really handle a high humidity created by a Reptifogger, like the veiled chameleon, so that wouldn't be a good idea for them, just because that amount of humidity would be too much. But for the other more tropical species like the panther chameleon, that would probably work really well. The only bad thing is they're not as automated as a monsoon, and yet you can't set it to turn off and on at certain times and the length of time. You can only set like how strong the stream of fog is. So it's got a lot less control than a monsoon, but it can still work if you just need to bring the humidity up in the cage. Alright, so that is about it for the different systems you can set up in your chameleon cage to make sure that they get water. So these are just alternatives to spraying down your enclosure with a water in a spray bottle. Instead of having to manually do it yourself every so often, you can just set it up to be automatic or have an automatic system in there for you. So you don't have to do all that work. So yeah, thanks for watching as always, everybody, and we'll see you next time.